Hey friends, welcome back to Hot News. Today's a great day for you. We got the existential question of the day, which is, if a bunch of cats jump on top of each other, is it still a dog pile? I need facts in this situation, because all my life is up in the air right now. So many different questions happening for different reasons. This is the one that keeps me up at night. Bunch of cats on top of each other. Is it a dog pile? Need to know. Today's video is brought to you by .tech domains. My friends, if you're in the tech industry, whether that be in the niche computer hardware scene, or you're a programmer, or you're involved with cell phones, whatever have you, .tech domains are the easiest way to represent your business, your brand, your personal life on the internet, and just get something that represents you in the URL. You can get a .tech domain just like I did for our business. We're UFD.tech, because our channel is UFD Tech. So getting a .tech domain, UFD Tech, it just makes tons of sense. And you can join the likes of CES, Viacom, Intel, Austin Evans, who have all had .tech domains. So head over to go.tech/UFD, search for the domain that you want. Once you find one that's available, enter the coupon code UFDTech at checkout for 80% off on 1 and 5-year .tech domains. A special deal for you guys. UFD Tech is the coupon code. Use the link in the video description. Go get a .tech domain for whatever it is that you need to represent with a domain today. Let's talk about today's first article, which is CD Projekt Red finally confirmed for an exciting amount of people that The Witcher is getting a continuation as soon as Cyberpunk 2077 is released. This came after an interview with some journalists in Poland with CD Projekt Red's president, Adam, I'm not even gonna try to say that Polish name, even though my last name's Polish. So there's a confirmed addition to The Witcher series. It's happening after Cyberpunk 2077, which is releasing in a few short months. Should have been sooner, but dang it, they had to delay it. Anyways, with the next iteration of the Witcher series, the president of CD Projekt Red wouldn't say whether it's going to be called The Witcher 4 or what it's going to be about, but The Witcher 3 was confirmed to be the last game about Geralt of Rivia, so he might be in the new games, but it won't be his storyline, which obviously leads to a whole bunch of questions and ways that we could go about it. You could have Vesemir's early story, you could have series continuation, you could do for other schools of The Witcher, because we followed the School of the Wolf, and then it could be the Cat School and a whole bunch of other. So there's a lot of world expanding opportunities that CD Projekt Red would have with The Witcher, even if it's not going to be based on Geralt of Rivia. And for you to get your Geralt of Rivia fix, you could obviously just watch the Netflix series, which has been confirmed to have a season 2. So that's going to be more continuation of Geralt for you. And yeah, it'd be delicious.
Winds howling.
But if this makes you want to replay The Witcher 3, don't forget that we did a video recently talking about how you can upgrade The Witcher 3 to get the best experience possible. You can check it out right up there. There's some graphical improvements that you can make to the 2015 game, as well as some gameplay improvements that make it a little bit more lore friendly. There's a lot you can do to continue to enjoy it, especially if you have to be stuck at home for whatever reason, which I'm not allowed to talk about. I'm going to call it Voldemort, the thing that's causing people to stay home and is causing things like E3 to be canceled. But Microsoft has come out and said that they will indeed have an Xbox E3 event. It will just happen to be online. Devolver Digital also came out and said that they should have one as well, where they're just going to have an online presence rather than a physical presence. Sony hasn't necessarily said anything. Sony was pulling out of conferences well before everybody. They pulled out of PAX East first, they pulled out of GDC first, and they already confirmed that they weren't going to be at E3. So we'll see if Sony has any plans to announce the PlayStation 5 at any point in the near future whatsoever, because it's just been mum. There's no info.
Drop the info.
Drop the info, Sony. We need the details. Just like we need the details of what Phil Spencer has apparently been playing on his Xbox account, which is an Xbox game streaming test app, which doesn't necessarily exist in the wild, but according to people who are speculating, it looks like it might be Project xCloud for the PC, because Project xCloud right now is just for mobile devices, which is just cloud streaming of Microsoft's Xbox library. This is very similar to GeForce Now or Stadia, except for it's an Xbox thing, and then it gets streamed to your devices. This is potentially something that could come out and would make it so that you don't necessarily need the best computer to play Xbox exclusive games. But speaking of exclusive games, the Battle Royale in Call of Duty is no longer exclusive to the people who paid for the Call of Duty, because the latest Call of Duty Warzone, which dropped this week, has seen an insane amount of players. 6 million people played the game within 24 hours, and one of the reasons this one is doing better than Blackout, which came with the previous Call of Duty, is because Blackout required you to purchase the game, whereas Warzone is a free-to-play edition on top of the latest Call of Duty iteration. However, you have to download the entire Call of Duty game. If you're playing it on the PS4, or it's a 100 gigabyte download to just play the Battle Royale version of Call of Duty. It's insane. If you already own Call of Duty, you can get it for an extra 20 gigabyte download. The Battle Royale features up to 150 players competing all at once. It seems like a lot of people are enjoying it. There's plenty of headlines, obviously, comparing it to Fortnite. I don't know if it's going to beat out Fortnite. A lot of people have said different games are going to be the next Fortnite. We'll see if that's actually true, but 6 million players in 24 hours is pretty remarkable. Good job, Call of Duty. But speaking of duty, Stadia. I'm going to talk about some big doo-doo that is Google with their Stadia promises, because Doom Eternal was one of the games that was announced with Google Stadia that was going to be in true 4K. You would be able to stream 4K natively for this next generation game. And with id Software coming out saying it's going to run at 60 FPS on even the base PS4, you would assume, okay, we can get 4K on a GPU that's super powerful. It's better than the best console out there. It's 10 teraflops compared to the 6 teraflops on the Xbox One X. It should be able to run at 4K, right? No, the freaking title that Google said would be native 4K is just upscaled 1800p. It's better than 1080p, but it's still upscaled. It's not true native 4K like Google promised it would be. It doesn't exist. Stadia is lying about their promises. I'm tired of their duty.
And are they both trying not to laugh at the word duty?
I'm paying $10 a month to be lied to. You know what? I probably should stop giving my money to Google. If one of you guys wants to be my lie teller, just come on over and tell me my fortune, but that's all complete fabrication. Maybe I should give you $10 a month instead. That would be a better use of...
Contribute to the economy.
Especially in this economy where people have to stay home. You can do this. This could be a remote situation. I give you $10 a month. You make false promises about everything in the world. This seems like a much better situation. But you know who says they're not a false promise? Ubisoft, because they've confirmed their support for NVIDIA's GeForce Now gaming stream service, which makes a lot of sense, especially since Google initially partnered with Ubisoft to make Assassin's Creed Odyssey as the first game that they trialed with their cloud streaming stuff. It makes sense that Ubisoft is now saying they're backing GeForce Now when other publishers and developers are pulling out. So it's not all bad news in the cloud gaming industry, but it is bad news when it comes to YouTube and talking about the thing that is literally the headline everywhere, and I cannot say anything about it because I will not make money. And YouTube came out yesterday to clarify some of that, saying that we're in an unprecedented time. Typically, their response to this is actually for more like natural disasters or immediate events, such as bad things that happen with projectiles or, you know, like hurricanes. I can't even say the thing. Like that's, So the thing that's causing us to not get monetized when we mention the bad stuff that's happening in the world is a policy that's a little misguided when it comes to something that's going to be an ongoing, ever-present thing. Anyways, they came out and clarified that they are going to allow some creators to be monetized for talking about this thing that's out there, that I am not one of the creators. They're going to be working with a limited group of creators as well as some news sources to make sure that everything is done properly. We haven't been contacted by YouTube, so that tells me that I'm still not allowed to talk about this without the chance of me getting demonetized on my video, which I understand the reasoning. They don't want to have hype and misinformation out there. They don't want things to get out of control because people on YouTube are monetizing off of it. I mean, how many clicks do you think the first major YouTuber who gets taken by Voldemort would get? Like, oh, I got Voldemorted, and like that's their title. They could get millions and millions of views, and this is YouTube's way of preventing that so that there's not misinformation and a spread of bad things in the brain. So I understand the reasoning. It hurts us in that I have to be very careful with my linguistics, and it's still even possible by the fact that we're showing the headlines in our news articles that we still might get demonetized for it. But hopefully talking about Voldemort and the Death Eaters might be the easiest way. I don't know, we'll find out if we get demonetized on this later, in which case I'll tweet about it and be sad. Okay, let's talk about something that everybody cares about now in the wake of the NBA getting canceled, E3 being canceled, right? Sharp is suing Vizio for violating their patents in some TVs. They said that there's over 12 patents that have been infringed upon, especially in one of Vizio's 70-inch TVs. That's what I care about, TV manufacturers fighting each other. And what you should care about is Yahoo. You know, the search engine mail provider that everybody used to use before Google came along? Well, they've just announced they have a mobile service. So you can now get Yahoo Mobile with unlimited data for $40 a month. The only caveat to that is for the unlimited data, the speeds are kind of ridiculously slow, at least in my opinion as a power user. So their regular download speeds will be between 5 and 12 megabits per second, but then during times of high congestion, you'll be limited to 5 megabits and upload speeds of 2 to 5 megabits. It's pretty slow. I don't necessarily like it. If you can use that and you can get by on that, you need unlimited data, then it's Yahoo. It uses the Verizon network. You could potentially do this. I don't understand what Yahoo's doing. There's already MVNOs that do this with Verizon who have the same plans. Why is Yahoo putting their name on this? Verizon owns Yahoo, so that might be part of it. It's a what? But then let's talk about phones that you could potentially use on the network. The Pixel 4a's pricing has been apparently leaked, with it indicating that it's going to cost $399, which is the same price as the Pixel 3a. So for the improved phone with the better specs, you're going to pay the same price that you did just a year ago, which seems to be a good move by Google. However, it does seem like the Pixel 4a is only going to be one device and they're not going to have an XL model, which would mean that people are expecting that it's going to have higher end specs with more RAM than the original 3A did, to kind of mitigate that weird, like, you bought the better phone with the better specs for the higher price. They'll just give you more for less. So we'll see how that happens when it's finally announced at some point. With Google I/O being canceled, we'll have to hear about it on a YouTube stream. But talking about more things that are not good, Comcast has accidentally published 200,000 unlisted phone numbers of their customers online. The best part is they did this before in the early 2010s and they ended up having to pay $33 million in a settlement because of it. So they did it again and they're currently offering $100 credits to the affected customers. Take that, don't sign any paper saying you won't sue, and then sue a lot. Okay, so let's talk about what's probably gonna get us demonetized now. Let's talk some more about Voldemort stuff. Uber has said that they are potentially going to be suspending riders and drivers who have been confirmed to have been affected by Voldemort and the Death Eaters. This is kind of going slightly counter to what they said previously. Maybe it's going in conjunction, but given the fact that they're a company that's losing money, I don't necessarily see this as a positive thing. They'll be temporarily suspending the account of riders or drivers confirmed to have been contracted or exposed to Death Eaters and Voldemort and all of that good stuff. If they cancel or temporarily suspend the contract of the driver, then that means that they necessarily won't have to pay them during the time that they already said that they're setting up a fund to pay those people. So if they remove them from their books or they temporarily suspend their account, oh, sorry, we can't pay you because you're suspended. That's the way I see this going, but it could potentially just be that they would then automatically pay those people and those would go into the pool of the people that they would pay. I don't necessarily trust Uber to do that, but that's just because I'm a skeptical man. Let's talk about some Apple stuff. An apple a day does not keep Death Eaters away, I'll tell you. And it doesn't keep leaks away, because there's an iOS 14 leak that has happened, and it has basically all of the new features that you would be expecting. So you can see everything that you would want in the next generation of the operating system on the iPhone. You can see what the iOS 14 has. We'll leave a link for it in the video description. Logitech also announced a new charger for the iPhone, Apple Watch, and AirPods, where you can do the triple charging. It looks like it has like a hanger thing. It's not quite like the AirPower, where you can just put your devices down no matter where, and then you're good to go. These things have existed forever, and this one's $130. Which is a little ridiculous, especially because I have one of these and it was under $100 when I purchased it, and it works just fine. So why you would want this to match your other Logitech color schemes, I don't know. But now let's talk about Apple and the Death Eaters, because Apple is telling their retail employees to do not do demos of the Apple Watch and EarPods, because you'll get the bad Voldemort stuff when that happens. So don't do that. Don't, if you're at a retail store, don't let people try things on, okay? It's a bad idea. You're gonna spread stuff. You're gonna spread contact with Voldemort. Bad. And then also in Italy, because of everything that's going on with the Death Eaters just roaming the streets there, Apple has announced that they are going to be shutting down all of their stores in Italy right now. So there's that. And with that being said, I'm going to end the episode of Hot News there. Don't forget that today's video is brought to you by .tech domains. Head it to the link in the video description. Go .tech/UFD, enter the coupon code UFDTech to save 80% off of 1 and 5 year subscriptions of .tech domains. Represent yourself on the internet in the best way possible with .tech domains. And don't forget to answer today's existential question of the day. If cats are on top of one another, let's say there's a pile of 100 cats, they're all alive, it's not a dead pile by any means. Is that still a dog pile? Need to know. Okay? Anyways, everybody stay safe out there. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty going around, but you can be certain that I'll be here for you as long as I possibly can be, unless I have to be quarantined, in which case, goodbye.
I'll take that $10.
Who wants to be my